All right, so we are live on YouTube as well. Hey guys, what's going on? I got two versions. Think and Grow Rich. We got this one too. We went live last week as well. Not on TikTok, but we went on YouTube and we talked about the different versions that we have. So some versions of this book, I'm about to turn the music down a little bit. Some versions of Think and Grow Rich are, annotated. They have notes, and some are the original version with no notes. So it's not copywritten and everything, and we can actually workshop through that. So that's the one that's here. There's several versions you can get into. Let me pause this music for a moment. All right. There's several versions that you can get into, and it doesn't have to be a specific book, right? You can get a free PDF online. These are the two versions that I have. And we are workshopping Think and Grow Rich because why? Because it's that time. It's that time. I want you to listen to something. And before we listen to it, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about the question, does God want you to be rich? Like, does God actually want you to be rich, or are you allowed by your source of power, whoever that is, whatever that is, to be rich? Because some people actually put the source of their power like into, people, right? People that they know, right? Do your parents want you to be rich? Do they allow you to be? Does the conditioning in your mind that you grew up in allow you to feel that that's something that you can achieve? Whatever source that is your power is what's defining your ability to do anything that you want to do in your life. And so I'm here to remind you that God does want you to be rich and that you already have permission to do so. Okay. All right. So we got a couple people in the room. Hey, guys, my name is BatiYah Yisrael. This is my channel, Son of God or Solar Alignment. This is my metaphysical channel. I have several. So we're streaming also on YouTube for the Wealth with Tia channel as well. So y'all can also follow that as well. But you can, stay here. And we are workshopping the book Think and Grow Rich. So the question is right now, does God, this is a version that I have of the Bible, because spirituality is a part of everything, right? You don't even have to belong to a particular religion to be spiritual, right? Is there something greater than you? Does that force that brought you here want you to be prosperous? How about that, right? Some people, they're scared of the word rich because they think it has like a negative connotation, or maybe it's greed or, something like that. Do you have permission to be able to, buy what you want, right? Have all your bills paid, right? Be what they call financially free, etc. Right? And so the Creator has given us that permission. So I want y'all I'm going to turn to the page in the Bible. We did this a little bit on the last live last week. That's on YouTube. It's recorded, so you can check it out. And but I will just review this a little bit, and then we're going to move on. We are workshopping the book Think and Grow Rich. Okay. Think and Grow Rich, written in 1937, still relevant to today. All right. Still relevant to today. All right. So Deuteronomy 8 and 18. All right. Whether you're religious, spiritual, whatever the situation is, that's what we're going to go over today to see if God wants us to be rich, if we have the power to do it. So I'm not going to go into the entire context of the words. Okay. This is the last book in what they call the 5 books of Moses. And it's talking to the children of Israel. And generally speaking, we understand that whether the stories in the Bible were real or fictional, right? Some people want to say they're not, they're fictional or they're non-fictional, whatever it is, we can learn from it and we can apply it to ourselves to the day. Okay? We are the children of source today. And actually, there are still some children of Israel around today, not necessarily the ones that they define as the children of Israel. There are many who this word applies to. And if you came from source, you are one of those children of source who this information applies to. So let's see how this applies to us. Deuteronomy 8 and 18, because we want to know if God has given us permission to get rich, or if it's just for a people of a certain gender or a certain race or ethnicity. Like what's going on? Or if it has to be dependent on the economy, what's the situation? All right, so we're not going to read the whole chapter, Deuteronomy 8. Please do that in your own privacy, because it's a great meditation, right? And you may already know it. Deuteronomy 8. Okay. This is where the children of Israel were, it was being reviewed that the Creator is going to bring them into a good land, right? Full of prosperity and things like that. So when this prosperity comes to you, the prophet and the Creator wants you to know, we're going to go to Deuteronomy 8 and 17 and then 18. And you shall say in your heart, my power and the might of my own hand have gotten me this wealth, right? So we're warned not to say that our power or the might of our own hand has gotten us this wealth, though we know that God works through us. We don't just pray and do nothing. We pray and then we do, because we already know the scriptures already told us that faith without works is, it doesn't work. Okay, so Deuteronomy 8, verse 17, and you shall say in your heart, your power and the might of your hand have gotten you this wealth. So the prophet is saying, don't do that. Don't do that. But you shall remember, here's verse 18, but you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he that giveth thee the power to get wealth. That's where we're getting to right now. See, the Creator already gave you right there, the power to get wealth. D, Gerald, Barbara, you already have the power to get wealth. You've got the permission already. This is back in Deuteronomy, y'all. So that means that if there's a significant amount of people who are not wealthy, and when you're on your journey to wealth, you are successful. Okay. Bob Proctor has taught us that, but we can get into that. So if you're on a journey and improving, you are on that journey to wealth. But there are people who they just don't meet that energy at all. But if there are people there who don't meet that energy of wealth, right? It's not that they don't have the power or permission. It's just that they're not connecting to the energy. So we went over some of this last week on the last live that's on YouTube. But we're reading from Deuteronomy 8 and 18, and it's telling us, but you shall remember Yah, your power, that's in the Hebrew, or the Lord thy God, for it is he that give you the power to get wealth. Now, we already also went over that the masculine and the feminine energy are both expressions of source, okay? So that the Bible, just going into this a little bit, because you're on the channel, this is my metaphysical channel, solar alignment, and we have to, we talk about that as well. I'm not going to dwell on it too much, but in the scriptures, it has been translated in a patriarchal way. And so, yes, everywhere you see God, you see it translated as he. You can translate it in that way and it will be correct, but it's not complete. So if someone says she, when speaking of the Creator, that is also correct. Okay, the feminine is also an aspect of source. Okay, the gender, when we get into gender, we're talking about attributes, feminine and masculine. And so we'll get into that. So, but I will read the scriptures as it says, for God, it is he that gives you the power to get wealth. But if I want to say she that gives you the power to get wealth, that's also correct. And we must know that many, many years ago, society was matriarchal and will be going that way again because we have to balance the universe. So again, I'm not going to get too much into the matriarchy, patriarchy, things like that. But when we're dealing with the scriptures, we can also say she and we can say he in terms of calling on the source. Okay, because both the feminine and the masculine are both expressions of source. Okay. So again, we're going over the book Think and Grow Rich, guys. Welcome to the room. Hey, hey, hey. Thank you for joining. This is our second live on this. We are still in the foreword, but it is good. And they told us last week in the book, Napoleon Hill and all that good stuff. This is not, it's not a sprint, right? It's a marathon. So when you come on these lives and you check out any of my content that's posted on Wealth with Tia, like we have YouTube and things like that, and we're going through this book, we're not just going through it just to go through it, just to say we read a book, right? This is a workshop, okay? So if it's the will of the Creator and the Most High, this is a workshop. The Creator and the Most High is the Most High, right? It's a workshop. So we are still in the forward and we are learning. And I want y'all, so I just wanted you to get into your minds that we already have permission to be rich. Like if you read somewhere in the Bible, I don't know, you know the phrase about, I don't know if I had to get it right now, but it's easier for, what is it? A camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man, something like that, right? It's not the best quote of it. It can turn people off to getting wealth because it gives the impression like, oh, God doesn't want me to be rich or it's something wrong with that, right? Or the love of money, is the root of all evil. And so these phrases, some good people we hold on to, but then we might push riches from us and wealth from us and the opportunities that come to you all the time because I don't know, I mean, I want to be close to God. And I don't know, I read a couple verses. I heard a few people say that to be wealthy, I can't fit through the eye of a needle. I mean, I'm just interpreting it that way. Maybe it's saying don't trust in your riches. Trust in the source. Trust in your Creator. Maybe it's saying don't sell your soul for your riches to get anything. Because we know there are a lot of people who do that. We can see that playing out in society right now, can't we? As things are crumbling around us because of the many people who have sold their soul for riches. See, we're not doing that. That's what we're not doing. Welcome to the room. Welcome to the room. Like it up if you like it. If you're starting to feel it, like it up. We just warming up. We just came on. Let me see. All right. So there are people who sold their soul for riches. That's the problem. You don't worship it. But my goodness, today, the Creator already told you in Deuteronomy 8:18, but you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is He that have given you the power to get wealth. So you already have the power to get wealth. And if you have the power to get wealth, we said on last week's live, then you have permission to do it. So if the Creator has given you power to do something, that means you have permission to do it. Okay? That the Creator may establish the covenant which He swore unto your fathers as it is this day. So not only is it a privilege for us to have an abundance of wealth and resources, but it is also a duty that we're doing actually for God. How about that? How about that? We're actually doing this duty to get more wealth and riches for the Creator. So the Creator can fulfill the promises to our forefathers. Okay. So what I would like you to do, we went over this a little bit last week, just a little bit of a review. I want you to go to Deuteronomy 8:18. I'm going to probably have this typed up. To show you an example, but you do your own. And I want you to write it out, but put your name in it, right? So where it says, Deuteronomy 8:18. But you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he that has given you the power to get wealth. I want you to put, I will remember the Lord my God, for it is he, and I have /she, because the masculine and the feminine is all, they're both a part of source, an aspect of the energy of source. For it is the creator who has given me, and you put a comma, your name, power to get wealth. Put your own name in Deuteronomy 8:18 to see that it applies to you as well. All right, so we're workshopping the book Think and Grow Rich right here. And we're going to tell you why this is so important. And I'm not going to let you hear that from me necessarily. I'm going to let you hear from one of the esteemed teachers of our time who has passed. I believe he passed this year. Let me see. We're talking about Bob Proctor. All right. He passed in 2022. February 3rd, 2022. Rest in power, Bob Proctor. So the incomparable Bob Proctor read this book. Whatever version you get, he read the original version. Think and Grow Rich. Every day since 1961. Bob Proctor, the millionaire. And guess what? He was not a millionaire when he started reading this book. He was not a millionaire when he started reading this book. Okay. Thank you for liking the stream. Appreciate you. Bob Proctor was not a millionaire when he started reading this book, Think and Grow Rich. He was earning $4,000 a year. Okay. Now we know, this was the 1960s when Bob Proctor was introduced to the book Think and Grow Rich. He was earning $4,000. He was working with the person who introduced him to the book, a man named Raymond. And by the end of the year, Bob Proctor was earning $185,000, something like that. After he was reading this book every single day, he didn't even know what happened to his own mind. He didn't even know. He said, what happened to me? And once he found out, reverse engineered and all that he dedicated his adult life to helping you, the people like me and you, get rich and get wealthy the way we can. So let's hear a little bit from Bob, Mr. Bob Proctor, about this book, Think and Grow Rich. Okay. Let's see. We can hear it. This was after the gentleman, Raymond Stanford, introduced the book to him. Okay.
Then he asked me, said, "You ever read anything?" And I said, "No." And he asked me about what my income was. And I told him it was $4,000 a year. But I owed $6,000. And that's when he asked me, "Do you ever read anything?" And I told him I couldn't read. Now, that was just my way of saying that I don't read, because I could read. There's a lot of people that can't read. The ones that don't are no better off than the ones that can't.
All right, I'm going to pause right there. I will pause and interject throughout, okay? And hopefully it will be valuable. Bob Proctor said, first of all, he was given this book by his mentor. The man asked him, did he read? Bob Proctor, at the time, was 26 years of age. This was 1961. He said he was earning $4,000 per year. And I think he's going to say later, he owed $6,000. So he earned $4,000 per year, but he owed more than he was earning. And his mentor, who was about to tell him about this book that we're going over right now, Think and Grow Rich, he said, Bob, do you read? He said, do you read? That's what the universe is asking you right now. And this is no tea, no shade, because, there's a lot of social media there. But we have to input information in our minds. He said, Bob, do you read? And Bob said, I can't read. This is what Bob Proctor said. Bob Proctor could read, but he did not. How many of us have just information around it, but we just not studying? Or maybe, I don't know, a book might be too boring. You can get this on audio as well. You don't have to, because some people, they like to listen to things. They like to look at a video. It's not wrong with that. We're just saying get the information in. That's all. Think and Grow Rich. Bob just said something real key. He said, there are people in this world who cannot read, but the people who can read but don't are worse off than the people who cannot read. That's what he said.
But I owed $6,000.
He owed $6,000.
That's when he asked me, "Do you ever read anything?"
Uh-huh.
And I told him I couldn't read. Well, that was just my way of saying that I don't read, because I could read. There's a lot of people that can't read. The ones that don't are no better off than the ones that can't.
Let's not be like the ones who can't read or study or get this information. There's information all around us by people who have already been where we want to be. Like, do you want to be freed from your 9 to 5, your 7 to 3, your 11 to 7? Don't we all? I just started a clothing line. It's called Body in God, BODYINGOD.com. I got one of the shirts on right now, Avatar of God. Here you go. We'll get into that, right? This is part of my journey to, being financially free. But there are things that we need to do. So we're not going to be like the people who can't do something when we have access to it. We have to take some time and change our lives and improve our lives by putting things in our minds that the people, who've mastered these things before us have done. Bob Proctor, when he was introduced to this book, Think and Grow Rich, never stopped reading it up until the day he passed in 2022. Okay. Let's listen to a little bit more of what he says about this book.
I learned that. And he said, start reading this book.
Start reading this book.
Just open it anywhere and read it. Read it from the front to the back. Get the whole drift of what he's talking about. And never put it down. Just keep reading it. You see, there's so much wisdom in this book. It's the essence of Napoleon Hill studying and interviewing over 500 of the world's most successful individuals.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to read it. And, of course, everything started to change.
He started to read the book, and everything started to change. And so that's the goal of this workshop with us, with myself, BatiYah Yisrael, with you, whoever tunes in, is to improve our lives, to get us on that wealthy vibration, that money frequency, to listen to the people who have come before us, who have mastered money and wealth, and who have left clues, not just clues, roadmaps. Bob Proctor said he read this book every day, didn't put it down. Of course, he had things to do, but you understand. He went back to it and he read it over and over and over, even after it helped him become a millionaire. Okay. So we're going to get started. We're going to pick up from where we left off on the last live. Okay. That's on YouTube right now. All right. So we're in the foreword of Think and Grow Rich, written by Napoleon Hill, which is a book that highlights the achievements of over 500 successful people. All right. So Dr. John R. Turner, who is the Dean of the College of the City of New York, after having read this book, Think and Grow Rich, said this about the book. This is the very best example of the soundness of this philosophy is your own son, Blair, whose dramatic story you have outlined in the chapter on desire. So he's talking to Napoleon Hill, and in the book, Napoleon Hill has an example of his own son who overcame a debilitating prognosis and physical condition where he was told by his doctors that he would not be able to hear anything. And he made them out to be a lie. The lie detector test determined that was a lie. Because he overcame it much from the energy and thoughts and information from his own father, Napoleon Hill, who wrote this book that we're going over, Think and Grow Rich, who never let it be put or set in his child's mind that he could not do a thing, that he could not hear, right? And in this case, we talk about money and vibration and prosperity. We're not going to, you don't let that sit in your mind. You can't do it. The economy is this, so how can you have a successful business or whatever? He never let that sit in his child's mind. His child overcame not even having the mechanisms of hearing. Dr. Turner had reference to the author's son, who, born without normal hearing capacity, not only avoided becoming a deaf mute, but actually converted his handicap into a priceless asset by applying the philosophy here described in this book that we're studying, y'all. Think and Grow Rich. Okay? After reading the story, you will realize that you are about to come into possession of a philosophy which can be transmuted, right? Taken from one place to the other, into material wealth. So let's say it again. After reading the story about the little boy who had some issues with his hearing and was not even born with the correct configuration, so said the doctors, to properly hear, after you hear how he overcame that situation, it's going to give you the knowledge and energy to transmute, to take that story and the lessons from that story and bring it into your own application of material wealth. Do you understand what's being said? So we're learning from one thing and we're taking that same energy and applying it to our business, to our life, and saying, oh, you know what? That determination, I'm going to use that to get this bag that I need to get and to keep it, right? Whatever my goals are. If I want to earn $5,000 per month, just as a beginning, right? From home, $10,000 per month from home. Like, that's another thing, the goals, because Bob Proctor, he wrote down his goal too. He said, have a little paper, and I'm going to do that, get a 3x5 card. Because we hear people talk about this stuff. But do we do it? I mean, I'm not going to say I haven't done certain things. I've done certain things. But I don't remember having a goal paper and like keeping it with me everywhere. So I'm going to do that. Bob Proctor said he did that. And every time you touch the paper, you're reminded of your goal. What is your goal? Write down your goal. Get a little piece of paper. My goal is to earn $5,000 per month from home. You can start there, or 10,000, whatever it is, right? Okay, so we're going to transmute this information into material wealth, or the story can serve as readily to bring you peace of mind, understanding, spiritual harmony, and in some instances, as in this case of the author's son, it can help you master physical affliction. So there's a lot we can get from this book, Think and Grow Rich. because these principles, truth is consistent, isn't it? It was written in 1937. But the people who have read it over and over again have achieved great material wealth. Thank you. Thanks for the rose. Come on now. I know that's right. All right, y'all. So we're still in the foreword of Think and Grow Rich. The author discovered through personally analyzing hundreds of successful men that all of them followed the habit of exchanging ideas through what is commonly called conferences, like something like, what we doing right now. Because where two or more are gathered, oh my goodness, that's when you get multiplication. That's when you get multiplication. And you know what? I gotta bring this quote. See, this is why we're doing this, because some things come up and gotta say it on the cuff. Let me see. There was a sister. I'm not sure if I wrote it down here. Who she brought up the biblical quote about when here, let me get it. It's about one can put 10,000 to flight. You ever heard that one can put 1,000 to flight? All right, let's see. All right. It's Joshua 23. All right. It's talking about multiplication, because it's saying basically one of you can put 1,000 to flight, right? With the Creator fighting for you. But two of you can put 10,000 to flight. So just with one more person, your power is multiplied. One of you can put 1,000 to flight. But two of you can put 10,000. So it made me think about that, because the person in the foreword is saying that through your discovery of reading this book, Think and Grow Rich, okay, you're building upon information that has 500 plus people that have already proven it. Okay. And here's what he said again, that all of them follow the habit of exchanging ideas through what is commonly called conferences, right? So they put their information together and they had a conference. So when they had problems to be solved, they sat down together and they talked freely until they discovered from their joint contribution of ideas a plan that would serve their purpose. So you guys, my new friends, we need to get together. You need to form some kind of alliance, even if it's with one other person. Even if it's with one other person, you need to form some kind of alliance. Do a Zoom meeting, every week, whatever. Get together, figure it out. How serious are you about your life? All right, so that's something to take away from this as well. Conferences. Okay. So I'm going to underline that. You who read this book will get most out of it by putting into practice the mastermind principle described in the book. This you can do, as others are doing so successfully, by forming a study club. That's kind of like what we're doing right now, All right. Beats by Profit, thank you so much. Appreciate the rose. Love it. So create a mastermind is what they're saying. Okay, you can form a study club consisting of any desired number of people who are friendly and harmonious. Y'all get along. You have the same goals, similar goals. It doesn't have to be like the way you're going to do it, but you might have a similar goal, of increasing your income. right? The club should have a meeting at regular periods, as often as once each week. Okay. The procedure should consist of reading one chapter of the book at each meeting, after which the contents of the chapter should be freely discussed by all members. So this is kind of like what we're doing right now. It's a little bit more informal. Let's say it was informal or informal, right? This is not quite yet, an open round table, right? Where we're reading and then everybody gets to, put their feedback in. But maybe that could be something that can be established, because this is one of the ways that has been advised that we get the most out of really anything, but in particular we're talking about Thinking Real Rich right now, the book that has helped transform the lives of so many people, including Bob Proctor, when he was only earning $4,000 per year, and by the end of that year he was earning $170,000 or $185,000. So he went from earning $4,000 and owing 6 to reading this book every day, applying the knowledge, working with a mentor who advised him to read the book every day. And then by the end of that year, he was earning $185,000. And this was in the 60s. This was in the 60s. So that money, you could just multiply that. That was way more then. And then by 5 years, he was already at $1 million. Over $1 million. By learning the principles and applying the principles in this book. So we have been advised to create meetings and forums to meet about this book. Now they tell y'all this is my first live here on TikTok, but on the first live we did on YouTube last week, I talked about why I'm doing this. I talked about why I'm actually doing this project, if you will, studying this book, because I had a as they say, coming to Jesus moment, if you will, last week about my own life and prosperity and things like that. It's a long story, but I have goals. I just opened started a clothing business, a clothing brand called Body in God, BODYINGOD. I have a very metaphysical side, so it's my metaphysical self. And please follow if you like. The Son of God is like my little nickname. But solar alignment is what this channel is about. And we're streaming on Wealth with Tia, which is my other channel on TikTok. If y'all like this, y'all can like that page too, so we can get up to 1,000 over there, and we can go live with the money stuff over there. But anyhow, this is one thing that I started to do to align myself with the wealth, frequency, is to start a clothing brand. But it's like starting anything, you gotta get out there, and you start at one, right? Like anything else. And so I was talking to the creator last week, and I was talking about compensation and all kinds of things. Like I need to be, have some compensation for the things that I've been doing some underground for years. It's like that's some of the things that I was talking to the creator about, right? I put out an album 20 years ago, guys. 20 years ago. It's called Nation Soundtrack of the Exodus. And I've been told it's helped a lot of people in their spirituality, their spiritual walk, and things like that. And you don't have to be a prophet or righteous or positive person who doesn't have the abundance to go with it, right? Like the creator dealt with people in the scriptures who were prosperous. Abram, people went through things, but we got the kings and David and Solomon, you can be prosperous and be a good person as well, right? So anyway, I had this coming to Jesus moment, if you will, or coming to the Most High moment last week, and was inviting the frequency of money to me even more and things like that. And the very next day, actually some hours later, it started, but I saw these key things that came to me that was like an answer to my prayer. And one of them was Bob Proctor talking about this book. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. Immediately I ordered I think a couple copies. I ordered one copy and then later I got another one. And you know how they say the spirit said, the most high said, put it in my spirit. Just do this either live or just make videos about it. Don't just do it by yourself. You're going to read the book anyway. Just, talk about it. And so that's why I'm here. Listening to the energy of source, and it actually is coinciding with what this person is saying. So each member should make notes, putting down all the ideas of their own inspired by the discussion, right? So if you have any ideas that come to you because of anything we discussed here, write it down, because it's on your journey. It's on your journey. I'm going to write down that quote, 1,000 to flight. Make your notes. Make your notes, okay? 2 to 10,000. All right. Each member should carefully read and analyze each chapter several days prior to its open reading and joint discussion in the club. All right, so kind of review before you come to the meetings, basically. The reading at the club should be done by someone who reads well and understands how to put color and feeling into the lines, right? So hopefully that's me right now, And maybe we might have some other facilitators who do this as well, okay? By following this plan, every reader will get from its pages, Think and Grow Rich, not only the sum total of the best knowledge organized from the experiences of hundreds of successful people, but more important by far, you're going to tap new sources of knowledge in your own mind, as well as acquire knowledge of priceless value from every other person that's present. Okay. If you follow this plan persistently, you will be almost certain to uncover and appropriate the secret formula. It's a secret, but we talk about it right now. The secret formula by which Andrew Carnegie acquired his huge fortune, okay, as referred to in the author's introduction. All right, so this was from John R. Turner, a dean of a college. After reading this book, he advised us to study it, take it seriously, to transmute any stories that we learn from this book into creating material wealth for ourselves. Okay. Like up the stream if you like it. Like up the stream, please. All right. And to create groups around this information and just, study it, take notes, and just keep doing it so we can change and improve our lives. All right. So tributes to the author. From great American leaders, Think and Grow Rich was 25 years in the making. It is Napoleon Hill's newest book. Of course, this was 1937. Based upon his famous law of success philosophy. So this book was based on another philosophy called the law of success. All right, so we get a lot of information here. His work and writings have been praised by great leaders in finance, education, politics, and government. Okay. So this is somebody who just read his book. Dear Mr. Hill. Dear Mr. Hill, again, we're going over Think and Grow Rich, and we're in the foreword where people who have read the book and who are advising us, who are embarking on reading this book if we never have, or if we have, taking it more seriously, right? They're advising us on how we should regard this book, okay? Dear Mr. Hill, I have now had an opportunity to finish reading your Law of Success textbooks, and I wish to express my appreciation of the splendid work you have done in the organization of this philosophy. It would be helpful if every politician in the country would assimilate and apply the 17 principles upon which your lessons are based. It contains some very fine material which every leader in every walk of life should understand. Okay? I'm happy to have had the privilege of rendering you some slight measure of help in the organization of the splendid course of common sense philosophy. Sincerely yours, former president and former Chief Justice of the United States. Hello. So we have a former president and Chief Justice of the United States who recommends the principles that are outlined in this book. Now, we can say a lot about the presidents of the United States, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. But they definitely, obviously, achieve a form of success. And here's one of them highly recommending the principles that Think and Grow Rich was built upon by Mr. Napoleon Hill based on his laws of success. Okay. All right. So this is a recommendation for this book by the king of the 5 and 10 cent stores. Okay. Woolworth. I don't know if y'all remember Woolworth. Y'all remember Woolworths back in the day? All that money. Well, this gentleman read this book, Think and Grow Rich. And he basically, I think he was talking about the laws of success upon which this book was written. And so he's giving his opinion about it. By applying many of the 17 fundamentals of the law of success philosophy, we have built a great chain of successful stores. So there's a person who applied the principles upon which this book was written, who built a chain of successful stores. Like, would you listen to something like that? Would you read something like this? Yeah, I would. By applying many of the 17 fundamentals of the law of success philosophy, we have built a great chain of successful stores. Not just stores, successful stores. I presume it would be no exaggeration of fact if I said that the Woolworth building, this was back in the day, remember Woolworths everywhere, might properly be called a monument to the soundness of these principles. F.W. Woolworth. So the man who was the king of the 5 and 10 cent stores that people love to go in. Well, they call them dollar stores and stuff right now, but this was like back, like the father of the dollar stores and stuff. He said applying many of the principles that are in this book, Think and Grow Rich, helped him create that successful chain, which really the remnants are still around today. This is 2024. Hello? I'm just saying. So that was from Woolworth. This is how F.W. Woolworth, this is how highly he recommends this book as well, Think and Grow Rich. All right, so it's another one. A great steamship magnate. Okay, I feel greatly indebted for the privilege of reading your law of success, which this book is based on. That's why they keep bringing up the laws of success, but the laws of success were written by Napoleon Hill, and he put many of them in this book, Think and Grow Rich, right? So if I had had this philosophy 50 years ago, I suppose I could have accomplished all that I have done in less than half the time. I sincerely hope the world will discover and reward you. That was from Robert Dollar, okay? A steamship magnate. We're going to go into some more because we're almost done the foreword, guys. Like I said, this is not entertainment. This is a study. So we welcome you to class. I'm your facilitator, BatiYah Yisrael. We are studying the book, Think and Grow Rich, so we can think, apply, and grow rich and wealthy. Because God already gave us the permission to get wealth in Deuteronomy 8 and 18. And this is a roadmap to help us do it. Now, there are several roadmaps. I mean, there's people that, have all kind of courses and things like that. But this is a book, thing made back in the day, what they call back in the day, 1937. That Bob Proctor, a man who dedicated his entire adult life since he was 26 years of age. He was probably a little older by then when he dedicated his life. But he dedicated his life to helping people like you and me to get rich. After he was reading this book every day and realized that something happened to his mind and he had all this prosperity. He went from earning $4,000 a year to $185,000 in 1 year. And this was back in the day, 1960s. So the money is worth more now. You know how that translates. And within 5 years of working with these principles in this book, Think and Grow Rich, and reading it all the time, he cleared over millions of dollars. I'm going to listen to the book. I'm going to read it. If it's the will of the Most High, and we're going to read it together because that's what this live is about. So, if you want to join the page, like the page. You can like Wealth with Tia as well. These lives are also going to be recorded. They're being recorded now because we're on YouTube as well. So if you want to check it out, you go to Wealth with Tia and check out the other lives we'll have. WEALTH WITH TIA. Wealth with Tia. Okay. All right. So a famous American labor leader said about this book, mastery of the law of success philosophy is the equivalent of an insurance policy against failure. Hello. Who would want an insurance policy against failure? Who would want an insurance policy against failure? Financial failure, business failure. I would. Hello. Well, Samuel Gompers, who was a famous American labor leader, said, if you apply these laws of success in this book, Think and Grow Rich, it's like an insurance policy against failure. I like that. Here's another quote by a former president of the United States recommending the book, Think and Grow Rich, and the information and the principles written by Napoleon Hill to you, so it can help you think and grow rich. Okay. He says, may I not congratulate you on your persistence. Any man who devotes that much time must of necessity make discoveries of great value to others. I am deeply impressed by your interpretation of the mastermind principles, which you have so clearly described. That's Woodrow Wilson. So not only are the principles to master the mind and all that in this book, Think and Grow Rich, but they're written in a clear and distinct way so that you and me, right? So we can follow the script very simply. So this book is recommended by Woodrow Wilson, basically, or the information that Napoleon Hill creates. Okay. John Wanamaker, here's another recommendation. I know that your 17 fundamentals of success, Napoleon Hill, are sound because I have been applying them in my business for more than 30 years. That was from John Wanamaker. Remember Wanamakers back in the day? Everywhere. Hello. Come on now. All right. So it's another recommendation from the world's largest maker of cameras. Wow. I know that you are doing a world of good with your law of success. He's talking to Napoleon Hill. Okay. I would not care to set a monetary value on this training. This training right now that we're receiving, we're going over it, live in our workshop. We may expand, may get other groups, Facebook groups, whatever. So we can actually workshop this stuff. See what our results are. Does it really work? Bob Proctor said he read this book every day since 1961. It worked for him. So that's the download and the information that I received last week when I was, talking to the Most High about the money frequency and increasing my prosperity. This book was recommended to me the next day. And that's why I jumped on it. Because if you pray or you ask for something for the universe and you get a sign, immediately jump on it because that is your answer. So this was the answer. So I'm going with it. Okay. He said, this is George Eastman, the world's largest maker of cameras, said, I would not care to set a monetary value on this training because it brings to the student qualities which cannot be measured by money alone. The man said this information is priceless. The information that we're starting to get into right now, y'all, in this book. So get your copy. Y'all can, if you don't have one already, I don't know how many of y'all have a copy of Think and Grow Rich, or how many of you have heard of it before. Let us know. But you can get free PDFs of this. This is in a public domain, right now. I think it was something with the copyright. They didn't renew the copyright, something like that. We know this book has been around. People make all kind of videos and things about it. Audios, you can listen to it online. So right now we're reading in the foreword information that all the recommendations of all these people that have achieved so much have, they're giving Napoleon Hill his kudos, basically, for writing this book. And George Eastman, who's the world's largest maker of cameras, he said, it's no money. I can't even put money on the value of this book because it's priceless. Because what you've taught people in this book, Napoleon Hill, this is what he's saying. He said it extends past a monetary value. It extends past money, basically. So it's not even just measured by money alone. That means this could actually literally change your life if you read it and apply this information. Napoleon Hill's son wasn't born with a mechanism of hearing. So they said. But years later in his life, he was able to hear. Now, he had help, he had advice, but he was able to hear because his father, Napoleon Hill, never allowed him to think of himself in a limited way. He always put sounds around him, and we can get into that. Lord willing, we're going to get into that and when we get into the book. But he never allowed it to get into his mind that he could not hear. So it's the same with you. We talk about money right here. We're going to transmute that energy into wealth. Do not let it get into your mind that there is a such thing as, I'm going to say it right now, but a poverty or anything, or it don't apply to you. I don't care what anybody, I'm just saying, that or whatever, has experience, or in your family has experience. Not saying that I don't care, but you know what I'm saying. It does not have to define you. Whoever you live with right now, they can, look at the bills and, we ain't never going to have enough of this. Or, whatever the situation is. We have to implant a different energy. Don't let that sink in. And sometimes the easiest way to transplant a different or a better or a higher energy within yourself is to get it from somebody else who has it, honey. Get it from somebody else who has it. Now, there are other things you could do, right? Affirmations and all that good stuff, because this is all a part of it. But right now, this is what we're doing. We're getting the information and that energy, that prosperous energy from people who already have the prosperous energy and already have the blueprint. They already have the blueprint. Napoleon Hill interviewed 500. Not 5. Not 50. And that would have been great. I mean, just one person is great. But 500 prosperous people to make this book, I'm going to listen to it. Are you? Get your copy. This was a few bucks from, I got the links on where I got it from. If you go to the YouTube channel, Wealth with Tia, we have the live there that we did last week. And I got the links to this particular one. But, there are different ones. This is more the original version. And this is the annotated version. Ross Cornwell, he compiled this one. It's just a little bit more commentary in this particular version. That's all. And I didn't want to workshop through this book publicly because when people change public domain books, when they add, personal things, then it becomes their copyright. So I might still read in it, but I won't workshop probably this whole version. But this one is the original 1937 version. So we can go into that. Okay. So we're in the foreword of it. All right. So George Eastman has told us, look, we can't even measure the value of this book with money. I can't even, it's priceless. So this is what we're getting right now. All right. So a nationally known business chief, and we're almost through the foreword. I think this is the last recommendation in the foreword, and we're going to be reading the chapter contents, okay, to show us what we're looking forward to in these classes that we're doing right here on Think and Grow Rich. All right. A nationally known business chief says about this book in Napoleon Hill, whatever success I may have attained, whew, he said, I owe entirely. He didn't say a little bit. I know I keep interrupting. I get excited. He said, whatever success I may have attained, I owe entirely to the application of your 17 fundamental principles of the law of success, Napoleon Hill. I believe I have the honor of being your first student. And that was from W.M. Wrigley Jr. And he was a nationally known business chief. Okay. So he was known nationally. And he said he didn't owe just a little bit of his success to the person who wrote this book, Napoleon Hill. He said he owed all of it to applying the principles of the laws of success. And guess where these principles of the laws of success are? They're in this book, Think and Grow Rich. So that's why we're going over it right now. Well, we're starting to, but stay tuned. Like the page, like the channel. Lord willing, come over to Wealth with Tia. We're on YouTube or also on TikTok. Join here at the Son of God Solar Alignment to stay tuned for our other lives. And we'll be going through the book. Lord willing, we will be going through it. All right. So we're going to go over the chapter of contents. Y'all, it's 4:41 a.m. On the 21st of May, 2024. All right. Appreciate y'all being with us. Appreciate everybody in the live right now. All right. Hey, Brad, what's going on? We're going over Think and Grow Rich. Now we're looking at the table of contents. This is a very highly recommended book by many, many, many successful people, including presidents, former presidents of the United States. Okay. So we're going to listen. All right. So the chapters go like this: Publisher's Preface, which we have not gotten into yet. We just got to the foreword. Author's Preface, a general introduction. Yes, this is a course, y'all, that we're doing live. I may do some actual recorded videos on the YouTube channel. My name is BatiYah Yisrael, and the channel where I'll be putting this information on is called Wealth with Tia. That's all. That's on TikTok. That's on YouTube. It's on the gram. It's, we're around. But I'll be putting it on the tube. And but yeah, Lord willing. So for right now, we're workshopping it live. Okay, and we're just in the beginning. But again, this is not entertainment. It's not just to get through a book. Like, this is for real. Like if you attend these lives and you know you like it and you come through, get your notebooks. Get your notebooks. Okay. Because we're doing it. Lord willing. Okay. So we got the publisher's preface, author's preface, general introduction. Then we get into the contents of the book itself. There's a chapter on desire, which is the first step to riches. My grandmama's reading that right now. We talk about the book. I told her about this whole process, and she said she had the book already. but she hadn't been reading it and this and that. She says she also heard someone she knows who read Think and Grow Rich, and they have a couple versions. There's Think and Grow Rich, the Black choice. There's a variation of it done by like a Jewish rabbi, and she said that she's heard of people who have read this book over and over again and achieved great success. So when I told her what I wanted to do, I wanted to start, reading it myself and go over it on live and stuff like that. She went and dug and found her book, Think and Grow Rich, and now she's reading it again and taking it more seriously. So, I mean, come on now. This is how we can influence the people around us. But we can become a living example. That's really it, Okay. So she's on a chapter of desire right now. And we talked a little bit about the chapter a little bit. And again, a really easy way, y'all, to get this book and this information in your mind. If you don't, I don't know, you might not feel like you have time to be flipping through a book, even though you don't have to take a lot of time to do it. It could be a paragraph a day. It doesn't have to be a whole chapter a day or whatever. Just get the information in, right? You come to an exercise, stop, do the exercise. But a real easy way to get this information in your mind is just find an audio and play it. Y'all know it's free audios of this. And play it. That's what I do. And when I'm at, work and stuff like that, one day I'll be releasing that, for my business full time. But I play it. I listen to it. I'm discussing the chapter as if I was reading the chapters, but I hadn't read them. Now I was listening to them though, so I'm still was getting the information in. So you could do that too. Just put it on. You cleaning up your house. You doing something else. You don't have to be bogged down. You don't have to think of this as like a task. You know what I'm saying? To say, oh, okay, I got to do Think and Grow Rich. I got to read this. Maybe you might not be that much into, I don't know. These days, are people that much into cracking a book? We probably could be or should be. But the information, we still can get the information. It's still there. You can get a free audio right now or after this live of this book, Think and Grow Rich, and listen to it. A little bit each day. Just put it on. Or whatever, you could do it. So she's reading it right now, and I was discussing it with her actually this morning. How about that? This day, okay, earlier. All right, so anyway, chapter 2, desire. The first step to riches. That's your first step. It's desire. Chapter 3, faith, which is your second step to riches. Now, we know the Bible already told us that faith without works don't work. So he's going to tell us about the works as well, right? So desire, then you got faith. That's your second step to riches. Then the fourth chapter is auto-suggestion. Ooh. Mm-hmm. Which is the third step to riches, right? I would presume that's when you get into the affirmations and things like that. All right. Mm-hmm. So, third step to riches is auto-suggestion. So interesting. So that's chapter 4. Chapter 5, specialized knowledge. The fourth step to riches. Okay. So you're going to have some specialized knowledge. Well, we'll see what he says about that. Chapter 6, imagination. The fifth step to riches is your imagination. I mean, think about it. We are an image in God's mind. And God said, let there be. And there was, right? It had to be imagined first. That was the first light that turned on. It was the imagination. Okay. You are divinity in a body. And so you must use your imagination to place yourself where you desire to be. Place yourself in the room of what? Of wealth and riches and all that good stuff. Okay. All right. If you like the page, like it. Appreciate y'all. All right. Alex over 32. Hey. Okay. So we're going through the chapters of Think and Grow Rich. Chapter 7, organized planning, the sixth step to riches. So this is not just about thinking. I mean, yes, it starts there, but we're talking about planning as well and having some concrete things to do. And Napoleon Hill is going to help us to do that. Number 8, decision, which is the 7th step to riches, is decision. Like, you have to decide. A lot of times it is just about clarity, because once you decide, and then you got to focus. Then you have a focus and you have somewhere for your energy to go. But if it's here and here and here, So decision, the 7th step to riches. Number 9. Ooh, here it is. Persistence, the 8th step to riches. I like how he just lays it out in the numbers. Persistence is the 8th step to riches. Chapter 10, power of the master mind. The 9th step to riches. Power of the master mind. The 9th step to riches. Chapter 11, the mystery of, now I'm going to change this word here because I don't know how much I can say this on these apps here. So it's an X, and then it's an E, and then it's a X. Okay. So but we're going to change it to intimacy. Okay. The mystery of intimate transmutation. Right. Yeah, we get it. Okay. The mystery of intimate transmutation, which is the 10th step to riches. That's chapter 11. We got to transmute some energy now. You gotta transmute. You know what transmute is? Basically change from one form, bring it over to the other. Okay. All right. So chapter 12, one of my favorite subjects, the subconscious mind. That's a big one right there. That's an interesting one. The subconscious mind. It is the 11th step to riches. A lot of people talk about the subconscious mind. A lot of people talk about the subconscious mind because it's very important. I have my own personal learning and view on the subconscious mind. It's actually a thinking and a knowing that some other people have, they share as well. But it's something that source creator had shown me personally. And really quick is that the subconscious mind is not this mysterious thing that we have to go searching around for. That is actually contained within your very body, within your actual cells. So it's more than your thoughts. Your subconscious mind lives in your body. And if you can align your cellular vibration with wealth and the frequency of wealth and abundance, it will carry you there automatically, or more easier, I say, more easily, because it's going to be, wealth is going to be where you're vibrating from in your own cells. Okay. So I'm not sure if that's his take on it. Again, people talk about the subconscious mind. I'm sure you've heard about, that and your thoughts and how things that happen to you when you're a child and all these things lead to why you do the things that you do today. But think about it. A lot of us are carrying the similar energetic energy, whether it's from our foods and things like that, that we carried when we created maybe certain negative circumstances or whatever it is. So when you can change those things and put a higher vibrational frequency into your body, you can vibrate on a higher level and you can attract more positive things in your life, more positive people, situations, and everything, more money, all that good stuff. All right. So we're going to see how Napoleon Hill talks about the subconscious mind, but I also have some thoughts on that as well. So we'll see. So that's the 11th step to riches. Chapter 12 in the book, Think and Grow Rich. Okay. There it is. All right. So we're just going through the table of contents right now. And we might get into through the publisher's preface. We'll see. All right. We've been going about an hour on live so far. We appreciate people coming through. And thank you. Okay, that's you're beautiful. Hey. 31 likes. Let's go, guys. Like up the stream. Love you guys. We're going, and if you follow the page for more, okay? Because we're gonna be, Lord willing, we're gonna be doing this regularly because we need to get to this bag. Guess what? It's not even just about getting to the bag. Here it is. It's aligning with the frequencies of wealth that's already here. How about that? It's already here. And if you were here earlier, like we went over, the Creator has already given us the power to get wealth. Okay, we have an assignment. If y'all just coming through, we have an assignment. Go to Deuteronomy 8 and 18 and put, I will remember the Lord, my God. I wrote it a little differently. I put the Hebrew, Yah, Lord, my God. For it is He. I also included the she because the feminine and the masculine are both aspects of the Creator. That gives me, comma, put your name, the power to get wealth. Deuteronomy 8 and 18. Deuteronomy 8 and 18. Write your name, make your, we're going to call this your wealth certificate, God's wealth certificate for you. Because you've already been given the power to get wealth. I don't know who told you can't. The economy, I don't know. The color of your skin, I don't. Your gender, I don't. Your family history, I don't know. But we have to start to see through our circumstances. I'm sure he's going to get into that when we get to the imagination part. All right, so subconscious mind, the 11 steps to riches. We got a few more chapters. Chapter 13, the brain, which is the 12th step to riches, the brain. Hello. And then chapter 14, the sixth sense. Your sixth sense is the 13th step to riches. Huh. Really? So you got to go beyond, taste, touch, smell, hear. Your basic senses. That's another step to riches? Oh, you mean like what you know, but you can't always articulate how you know? You mean that sense? Your sixth sense is the 13th step to riches. Okay. That's the sense that told me to workshop this book on live. Because I wasn't planning on doing it at first. I was just planning on reading the book. And something said, oh, do it on camera. I said, okay, that was a sixth sense. You got to obey it. When you get those little nudges, go on with them, All right. One more chapter in the book. We are going over just the table of contents for Think and Grow Rich, written in 1937 by Napoleon Hill to help us think, apply, and grow rich in our lives and wealthy and get aligned to that wealth frequency. Chapter 15, how to outwit the 6 ghosts of fear. Clearing the brain for riches. You got to clear the brain to get rich, y'all. You got to clear it. It says outwitting the 6 ghosts of fear. I don't know if you heard this before. I'm sure some of y'all probably have. Maybe all of you. Fear is what? False evidence appearing real. Okay. So in chapter 15, Napoleon Hill is going to show us how to outsmart the 6 ghosts of fear and how to clear our brain of the mess. My God. So we can be prosperous. Hey, Uncle Marsh, Morgan Hunter, what's going on? How y'all doing? Join in. Like up the stream if you like it. We're talking about thinking and growing rich here and applying these principles. We just went over the table of contents. I'm BatiYah Yisrael, your facilitator. Please join me on Wealth with Tia. That's my other page that goes over the money frequency and things like that. We also are on YouTube as well. We have our other live that was posted from last week where we started reading the preference or the preface. I think that was the foreword. We're about to go into the preface now. And this is the page, Son of God or Solar Alignment, where I talk about my metaphysical things. But money is also, a part of that. So welcome, welcome. And we're going to go into the publisher's preface. And we may end it there for today and listen a little bit to Bob Proctor as we end it for today. Or this yeah, it's the day. It's about to be 5 a.m. y'all. What's up? All right. So we've been on here for about an hour, 20 minutes. So we appreciate you. We're going into the publisher's preface of Think and Grow Rich. And let's go. Okay. So this book conveys the experience. Let me see if I want to see if I can put a little music on this one. Let's put a little vibe on here. It's not really loud, but maybe I can hear it a little bit. Come on in. Give me water. All right, so we're going through the publisher's preface of Think and Grow Rich. This book conveys the experience of more than 500 men of great wealth who began at scratch. Very important, y'all. Because you had to start somewhere. Don't judge somebody on their beginnings. I mean, King David was at the back of the house too now. Come on, somebody. Come on. Hello. I mean, Joseph went on to save his whole family and nation. And he had been falsely accused in jail. I'm just saying. These 500 men of great wealth who were studied to write this book, for Napoleon Hill to write this book, they began at scratch, like at the beginning. Okay, so we're going to test this out. We're going to see if it works, Bob Proctor, he recommended, all these people recommended, presidents of the United States recommend this book. But the principles that were built upon this book, upon which this book was built upon, there you go, something like that. So we're gonna test it out. So it said they began at nothing. It says with nothing to give in return for riches except what? Thoughts, ideas, and organized plans. They didn't have like inherited money. They didn't have all that. My attention was just drawn really quick. Y'all, I started a brand. Yeah, I just saw it. I go with the spirit. Avatar of God. This is from my new clothing brand. This is our woven tag. It's based on the Metatron's Cube, which is the blueprint for physical creation. Also the Merkaba, which is the flower of life. And this is when you get into your spiritual, your spiritual bag. This is our tag. All right, Body and God. BODYINGOD. We got it in white as well. Avatar of God. So being an avatar is like being an example. Y'all know what avatar is, right? We hear that word all the time on like computers and stuff like that. Y'all can go to the, trying to figure out what I can say on these apps and stuff like that. But I think the link is, you know it. But yeah, it's BatiYahGod.com, BODYINGOD. And you can get some metaphysical merch. Tell a friend. Y'all might be into that. An avatar is an example of something on earth, a representation, right? So to be an avatar of God is to be one of God's avatars on earth, y'all. This is my new brands. I have the long sleeve on. Here's our logo, Body and God. And I got the long sleeve on. And we have different things. It's not just that. We have less shadow, more light. You know, when we talk about doing shadow work. Shadow work is great. But sometimes I like to shine more light on the shadow or on the dark places of our life. It's like what we're doing with this book, y'all. We're shining light on it. Sometimes it's not always about like all the things that happened to you in the past and all that. And like, that's like, I get it. I get it. Like, how many times have we gone over this and that? Like, you have to have new energy to replace that. Less shadow, more light, baby. Let's go. Right. So we got that on the shop. And you know, different things. So let me see. This is my little commercial. My little commercial break. So we got the avatar guide, less shadow, more light. We have some pocket tees that have our brand logo on there, which is really. We have some hoodies too, because you know, even though it's hot, it's starting to get into, you know, it's spring. Obviously, it's starting to get into summertime. You kids work inside and things like that. And I know I like to sometimes wear hoodies when I'm inside and stuff like that. So yeah, we got a few hoodies on there. Avatar got hoodie, 100% cotton, y'all. Where do you get 100% cotton hoodies? Hello? It's a lot of mixed fabric stuff going on, but we have 100% cotton, so that's cool. So check us out, BatiYahGod.com. And so it's Thinking and Growing Rich, right? What is your wealth vision? Join me at Wealth with Tia. We on the gram, we on, you know, YouTube, over here at TikTok. And let's start to workshop this book so we can get on this wealth frequency. Okay, let's go. So we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for staying. You know, my commercial. All right. Something told me to do it. I go with the spirit when the spirit told me to do it. So I appreciate y'all. Okay. So we're going into the publisher's preface, and then we're going to end it there for this stream, and we're going to go out and listen to a little bit of more about Proctor. We're going to see what he has for us. Okay. So they started from scratch, y'all, with nothing to give in return for their riches except thoughts, ideas, and organized plans. Okay. Here in this book, you have the entire philosophy of money making, just as it was organized from the actual achievements of the most successful men known to the American people during the past 50 years. Okay? That's what we have in this book. That's what we have in this book. I think that bears repeating. In this book, you have the entire philosophy of money making, just as it was organized from the actual achievements of the most successful men known to the American people during the past 50 years. It describes what to do and also how to do it. How to do it. It describes what to do and how to do it. It presents complete instructions, y'all, on how to sell your personal services. It provides you with a perfect system of self-analysis that will readily disclose what has been standing between you and the big money in the past. See, that's in the past, though. Okay. Because the big money is right there, right now. It's right there, right now. All right. It describes the famous Andrew Carnegie formula of personal achievement by which he accumulated hundreds of millions of dollars. Woo! Just feel that right now. Hundreds. See, I'm Leo Virgo. I'm just saying, I don't know if you into, the signs and stuff, but we are connected to the planetary alignment. It just is what it is. So they say that like Virgos is really about, their money. I don't know what it is, but it's something about prosperity. I know who I am. I know whose I am. And we have a source, a God, whether you're religious, you spiritual, we have a source that created the sun, the moon, the skies, the beautiful, just everything in existence. The deep seas that human beings can't even journey down. We have a source that has created the most magnificent of everything that exists, including you, including me. And that source is living as us, embodied within us, as us. And that source seeks to live an abundant life through you. I'm going to say that again. The source of all creation seeks to live an abundant life through you. Are you going to let that happen? I am. I'm going to do the best I can. Yeah. All right, we're doing it now. So this book describes what to do, how to do it, and how to sell your personal services. It provides you with a perfect system of self-analysis that will readily disclose what has been standing between you and the big money in the past. It describes the famous Andrew Carnegie formula of personal achievement by which he accumulated hundreds of millions of dollars for himself and made no fewer than a score of millionaires of men to whom he taught his secret. Wow. Okay. So he didn't just make money for himself, he made it for other people too. All right. Perhaps you do not need all that is to be found in the book. No one of the 500 men from whose experiences it was written did. Wow. So they didn't even need every single thing in the book. They needed what they needed for them. But you may need one idea or one plan or one suggestion from this book, Think and Grow Rich. That's what we're reading right now from. To start you toward your goal. Your goal. What is your goal? Okay. Somewhere in the book, you will find this needed stimulus to help place you towards your financial goals. This book was inspired by Andrew Carnegie after he had made his millions and retired. It was written by the man to whom Carnegie disclosed the astounding secret of his riches. The same man to whom the 500 wealthy men revealed the source of their riches. Okay, and that was Napoleon Hill. In this volume will be found the 13 principles of money making essential to every person who accumulates sufficient money to guarantee financial independence. Does that sound good? Financial independence. It is estimated that the research which went into the preparation before the book was written or could be written, research covering more than 25 years of continuous effort, could not be duplicated at a cost of less than $100,000. So it took 25 years of research to then write this book in 1937. Okay. This book, Think and Grow Rich, is the result of Napoleon Hill's 25 years of research. And of course, piggybacking on, if you will, Andrew Carnegie's information as well. Moreover, we're almost through the preface, publisher's preface. Moreover, the knowledge contained in the book never can be duplicated at any cost, for the reason that more than half of the 500 men who supplied the information it brings have passed on. Okay. Riches cannot always be measured in money. That's true, because we know health is wealth now. That's the number one thing. Because you got to have your health to experience all your abundance of the material wealth, right? Riches cannot always be measured in money. It starts in a mindset, doesn't it? I mean, who are you in your mind? When we get into the first chapter, we're going to read about a man. It's not going to be tonight or this morning, this day, Lord willing, but it'll be another time, Lord willing. But when we get into that chapter, I think it's the first chapter, when it talks about desire, it talks about the mind of the man who wanted to be an apprentice. And he wanted to be an apprentice of someone. And it was to Thomas Edison. And he saw himself as Thomas Edison's apprentice when he didn't have any evidence to prove it, like at all. It was just in his mind. He had no evidence of it. It's like people who know you. Oh, who you think you are? You think you're going to be? Oh, all right. Oh, all right. Oh, all right. How the song go? Don't believe me? Just watch. That's it. That's all I can say. All right. But it starts in the mind. So that's what I'm saying. So riches cannot always be measured in money. If you're abundant in your mindset, you're going to get there physically. You will get there. Okay. Money and material things are essential for freedom of body and mind. Money and material things are essential for freedom of body and mind. Okay? That's biblical. You ever read it in the Bible? Ecclesiastes 10 and 19. You ever read that? Let's see. It's a really good chapter, Ecclesiastes. Different interpretations of it. It says, this is a King James version. Ecclesiastes 10, verse 19. A feast is made for laughter, and wine maketh merry. I don't drink much wine these days, any really. But some people do, right? So wine makes make you a little happy. But money answers all things. That's in the Bible. Write that one down too. I'm gonna write that down myself, right? So we're taking notes here. We're not just getting through, the class just to get through the class. Say we went over a book, we had a live. We want to remember things and take note of things. Okay, so that's Ecclesiastes 10 and 19. I'm just gonna say ... I won't write the whole thing. I know what it means. Money answereth. That's the way they say it in the biblical terms, right? Answereth. Money answers all things. Now, of course, we're not talking about worshiping money. We're not talking about it, but come on, guys. We're playing this video game down here. That's what we call it. Life is a video game. It's God's video game. And in any video game, you have, trinkets. And, you do well. You get your coins and stuff. That's what we're playing down here. But, God want to earn some coins through you as your character. Because, I'm getting to my metaphysical stuff. But, God is playing all the characters now. But that's getting some other stuff. God is playing all the characters. And it's time for Source to live on a higher vibration through us. Okay, that's part of the reason why I was inspired to do this, to workshop this book, Think and Grow Rich, live for free for you and me, to get and to stay on this wealth money vibration. Okay, so money and material things are essential for freedom of body and mind, which was echoed in the Bible in Ecclesiastes 10 and 19. But there are some who will feel that the greatest of all riches can be evaluated only in terms of lasting friendships, harmonious family relationships, sympathy and understanding between business associates, and introspective harmony, which brings one peace of mind, measurable only in spiritual values. All who read, understand, and apply this philosophy will be better prepared to attract and enjoy these higher estates, which always have been and always will be denied to all except those who are ready for them. Are you ready for your riches? Are you ready to attract to yourself those higher quality things in life? Lasting friendships, harmonious family relationships, wealth and money, loving relationships. Could be your soulmate. What they say, your twin flame. Understanding between business associates, your successful business. Well, I don't know what you want to be in Forbes. I don't. What you want to be known around social media, or you want to be quiet and not known around social media, but just want to have, the money. Are you gonna be one of those millionaires that walk around in like dusty gray black t-shirts and dusty sneaks and jeans, and nobody knows that you have a lot of money, but you do? You gonna be one of them? Yeah, I'm be a little flashier than that, but it's cool. I be wearing my own brand. You know what I mean? Body and God, let's go. All right, yeah. All right. So these things will come to us. These high vibrational things come to those who are ready for them. That's basically what it's saying. All right. So we're finishing up the author's preface. A few more sentences. We're going to listen to a little Bob Proctor, and then we're going to be ending it for the day, Lord willing, and I'll see y'all in the next video. All right. And follow me. My name is BatiYah Yisrael. I got several, channels here. But if you follow me on this page, Solar Alignment, you can get attached to all my other things, Lord willing. All right. So be ready for these things. Be prepared. Therefore, when you expose yourself, to the influence of this philosophy, to experience a changed life, which may help you not only to negotiate your way through life with harmony and understanding and understanding, but also to prepare you for the accumulation of material riches in abundance. And that's from the publisher. Okay. So we're going to pause it right there. Hold on, y'all. All right, we're going to pause it right there. And Lord willing, the next time we come on, we're going to get through the author's preface. So this will be actually from the author themselves telling us, what they want us. And then it'll be on to chapter 1. And Think and Grow Rich. So if you don't have a copy of Think and Grow Rich, you can go in a tube, and just listen to audio, free audio of it. Play it in the house while you clean it up. While you playing a video game or something. I don't know. Whatever. Play it. Turn it down low. Play it while you're looking at other things on social media. If you have another device or something like that, play it in the background. I don't know if you should play when you're sleeping. You can play things really low when you are sleeping. like your affirmations and things like that. It might be kind of stimulating for your brain. I like more restful things like that don't make me like think too much when I am sleeping. You can turn affirmations down really, really low, like when you're sleeping, and you can listen to them throughout the night. And your brain will pick it up, even though like your ears may not hear it directly right at the moment. Like, don't put it on mute, but just put it on where you can. The sound is really, really low. Your brain will still pick it up, and you'll be still getting the messages. It's like almost a subliminal, you know. So, but he'll probably get into this. So again, I'm excited. Thank y'all for joining the live and meeting me. This is BatiYah. This is my first TikTok live, y'all. I've been wanting to get on TikTok live for probably 2 years. And I didn't. I was doing other stuff. But all is well. So this again is my metaphysical channel over here. It's called Solar Alignment, and I'm here to help you to align your soul to the light. That is my purpose. So Solar Alignment is more of my metaphysical information. Hopefully you'll follow, and you can see that if you're already following. Hey, what's up? Anybody watching in the hallway? What's up? You know. Anyway, on YouTube, I'm streaming on my Wealth with Tia channel. And that's where I want to concentrate on all my money stuff, you know, if you will. But I'm streaming here on Solar Alignment because here's where I have the 1,000 followers, right? So hey, we can get Wealth with Tia up there. You know, we gonna do it, and we can. But anyway, so thank y'all for being here wherever you're joining from. If y'all watching the replay on the tube, thank you so much. And again, we're going over Think and Grow Rich. Written in 1937, still relevant to today. This is the book that Bob Proctor, a millionaire, who opened an office or business in every single country in the world. He read this book every day since 1961. Since 1961. Okay? And he highly recommended it. And Bob Proctor is our ancestor now. He passed 2 years ago in 2022. And he has brought a lot of wealth, if you will, no pun intended, of knowledge to humanity, and has dedicated his life, his adult life, to helping you to succeed, helping you to get rich. And one of the books that he recommended very highly to do so is Think and Grow Rich. And so that's why we're workshopping the book. It's an oldie, but it's a goodie. This is not the only information around, right? There's more updated, you know, maybe information. But we're going to go into these fundamentals because when something is true, it's true. Right? That's why they call it a fundamental. If something is true, it's true. All right? And so we're going to pause this music right now, and we're going to see what information that Bob Proctor can give to us as we exit this live, which we've been on for almost 2 hours. Yeah. Appreciate y'all. All right. So let's see. I'm just going to start the video and let's see what Bob Proctor is telling us. All right, see where we are.
Now, I had written a goal card that I wanted to earn $25,000. If you have a goal, write it on a card, put it in your pocket. Every time you touch the card, you trigger it in your mind. I had no idea how I was going to make it. Do you know that was the right thing to do, though? When you don't know how to make it, write it on a card. You have no idea how you're going to do it. I didn't. He said, never mind. He said, things will happen. Well, things started to happen. I was reading this card, and what it actually did, it caused me to start to think of earning money. Rosh pointed out something yesterday. He pointed out that he was always looking at his present results. And his present results just weren't making. I got him to look at the results he wanted, not the results he was getting. Now, you may be looking at your present results and letting that control you.
Mm.
It's the wrong thing to do. Look at the results you want.
Don't let your present results control you. Look at the results you desire to achieve. He also said, and I don't want you to miss, we said this a little earlier, create a goal card. And we may be talking about it in the book. I'm not sure if Napoleon Hill talks about this. I'm sure y'all probably heard this before. You know, of course you heard about like making goals and things like that, right? Sometimes we don't want to do it, or sometimes, we may do it and have vision boards, and they may or may not happen as quickly as we feel. So we're like, oh, this stuff doesn't work. Bob Proctor said, create a card, right? So I'm going to buy some 3x5 cards and write your goal. Just do one right now. Like, what's your main financial goal? And for you, this may not even be financial. Like, we're talking about finances, but this could be a health goal for you, which is, I mean, it's more important. Really, health is wealth. So we know that. So you got to have your health in order to experience and enjoy any kind of physical wealth, right? So make your goal card. Okay. Could be a relationship, whatever, right? We're going to start with the financial because that's what we're working on right now. What is your goal? He said, put it on a card, put it in your pocket, and carry it with you all the time. Okay. He said, as soon as you touch the card, you could be doing something else. He said, every time you touch it, it's going to come to your mind. His mentor said, Raymond, he said, don't worry about how you're going to achieve the goal. By the end of this year, it could be, I'm going to form my own business. Some of y'all have that as a goal. Like, have you created an LLC yet? Is that your desire? You may need to. Sometimes even taking online courses and doing online work, you need to have an LLC. Sometimes. I'm not giving, business advice here right now, but I'm just saying. So like that could be a goal. I will create my LLC before the end of the year, before the end of 2024. Whatever it is. You might not know how. You might not have maybe money set aside to do, or whatever. I don't know. So he's saying, don't worry about that, right? My goal is to begin to earn at least $5,000 per month from home, right? So that can include my own business, whatever, right? He said, don't worry. I mean, that's I'm going to say a small goal. That's like a beginning financial goal. Like, there's some people who are already achieved, some of these things, but there's some who have not. We talk about financial freedom, so we have our time back from exchanging time for money. These are the things that Bob Proctor talks about. You got to multiply your streams and basically multiply your efforts so that it's just not you going somewhere, clocking in and getting money for that. Because you're only going to have so much time. So you got to multiply it. Right? So when somebody goes to your brand and buys your shirts, they'll go to BatiYahGod.com and buy the shirts. BODYINGOD, right? It multiplies it because it's doing one thing, right? You might be doing some design, you might hire a designer, whatever, right? You have this idea, you put it on a site where people can purchase, and then you can get purchases from many, many places. You did one or a few things, you set it somewhere, and then now your time or your efforts are multiplied. So we have to begin to think in multiplication, right? And if you have already thought like this, now we got to, really get more specific. So create your goal card. Don't worry about how the goal is going to be made. The ideas will come, right? So this is what Bob Proctor's mentor has said to him. The ideas will come. Okay, we're going to listen to a little bit more, and then we're going to end the live and see you guys, Lord willing, in the next videos. Okay. All right. Let's see.
Well, at any rate, now think of this. At the end of the first year of me working with him, I was earning $175,000 a year. I mean, the change was so incredible, and I had no idea of how I did it. In under 5 years, it was over $1 million. We had offices in a number of different cities. We opened one in England. And we did it in England because I always wanted to go and live in England. I don't know why, but I did live there for a year. Now, it was one day, I was earning all this money, and I would go down to the Playboy Club. I mentioned this before. It was on Park Lane, right beside the London Hilton. And I'd go into Playboy, and I'd play roulette. And I won a lot more often than I lost. And I think it was because I was expecting to. But at any rate, one day I come out and I was walking away from the Playboy Club, and something happened inside of me. And I started to think that I was being totally irresponsible. Now, I wasn't very old. I was probably 27, maybe 28, 30, something like that. And it wouldn't leave my mind. And then I started to think, how did I change? How did my life change so much? Because 4 or 5 years is a relatively short period of time when you're moving at a pretty fast clip. And I'm thinking, what happened?
You said, what happened?
I know I'm not that smart. I didn't.
Bob said he knew he wasn't that smart. Well, he was smart because he applied principles of someone else who was smarter than him, right? But he said, what happened to me? I'm not that smart. How did I become a millionaire in 5 years? Now, this was back in his time. So that money is probably worth more now. He went from earning $4,000 a year to, at the end of the first year, earning $185,000. And then at the end of the 5 years or whatever it was, right? A few more years, earning $1 million plus. And he was trying to figure out how he did it. But meanwhile, he was reading Think and Grow Rich every day. Okay.
I think I was very smart. But yet I had offices in Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Cleveland, Atlanta, and London. And I had money coming in from all these cities. I couldn't figure it out. I made up my mind then that I was going to figure out what the hell happened to Bob. And because that's what I wanted to figure out.
That's what he did.
That's the answer I got. I'll look here for a moment.
All right. So right now he's going to play Earl Nightingale, called The Strangest Secret. If you want to hear more about that, look that up. Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret. And it just talks a little bit about people not thinking they can create wealth, but they're very, very, very talented and things like that. And he's just talking about the secret of getting this wealth, right? So look that up. All this stuff is free online. You can just look it up and find that. And this video is called How to Use the Money Frequency in 2024. So type that in and you will find Bob Proctor from his Proctor Gallagher Institute speaking about how to use the money frequency in 2024. And this is the video that actually inspired me, BatiYah Yisrael, little old me, to workshop Think and Grow Rich on live with you. Also probably make some videos on it as well. May not all be live, right? Or some additional things in addition to being live. This video, how to use the money frequency, came to me one day after I prayed to Source and talked to Source about, me being compensated for, just the energy that I put out in the universe, and just praying the Creator's scriptures over my life, Deuteronomy 8:18. It's like, Most High, you told us that you have given us the power to get wealth. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I need to align myself to the frequency. And the Creator was like, it's not like I hit the lottery the next day. See, that's how it is. It's like, there's a saying. It's like this little running joke. I'm just paraphrasing, but it's basically how the person asks for God to help them, right? I don't know if you heard it. He was in a boat or something like that, and these people kept coming, and they're like, "Oh, no, I'm waiting for God to answer." And somebody else came. "Oh, no, I'm waiting for God to save me." No, I don't need you to do it now. The water just kept getting higher and higher. I'm just, the other person coming and they try to help them. No, I'm waiting for God to help. But God works through people. I'm just trying to figure it out. Think and Grow Rich, because God works through people and your circumstances of your life. So this came to me the next day after I was talking to, the Creator about the money frequency. I was talking to money too. Oh, yes, I was now. See, it's an energy. This is an energy. I was like, money, you are welcome. I have abundance. I started my own clothing brands called BatiYah God. I own my own home, praise the Creator for that. I have, I'm gainfully employed and all that great stuff, right? But I would like my time freedom. I would like more financial independence and things like that. And my clothing brand, I'm just starting it. So these are goals that I have, right? So I was talking to the frequency of money, like you are welcome, wealth and all that stuff, right? I'm seeing this person and that person. And, we hear about millionaires all the time. The famous ones and all that. The Elons and this one and that one. Okay, what about you? Like, what about you? Like, do you want to be one of them? Because, not one of them, but, your own millionaire, right? God's millionaire. How about that? A God-made millionaire. Somebody uses that term. It's a person who has that term. You can look that up. That's actually a thing. God-made millionaire. You can be God's millionaire. Or just a person who's financially free, right? You don't have to think twice about when you go to the market and buy, or buy the healthy food. Like I like to buy, healthier type of foods. I don't always shop at like regular supermarket. I just don't, and it costs more money. It just is what it is. But you know what? It's worth it because you feel better. Like I tried that in the past. All right, let me, maybe I can get more. I can get more fruit, whatever at this market because it's lower prices and you can get more. Yeah, okay. And when I did that, it's not the same. It was not the same. So, do you want to have to think twice when you want to shop at a better market because you want to get higher quality food? What if you want to eat all organic food? I'm just saying, God is living through you as you. Why should these things be limited? They should not. And they don't have to be. And I don't believe that. And if you have to transplant metaphysically someone else's philosophy of prosperity to your own self, well, then that's what you need to do. Then you need to read somebody else's information, listen to somebody else's information, and borrow somebody else's perspective that has a higher perspective than you. So you can get on that higher vibrational frequency and then figure out what they're doing and what they did to achieve their wealth. And there you have it. Okay. So that's what we're doing. So this how to use the money frequency video inspired me to do this live workshop on this book, Think and Grow Rich, because this is a book that inspired Bob Proctor. It helped him transform his life to the point where he was like, I don't even know who am I? Where am I right now? Who am I? He didn't even recognize who he was anymore. Because he was no longer the $4,000 a year earner that he used to be. He said, who am I at $1 million? Wow. Do you want to have that? I won't say identity crisis, but hey, that's a nice one. I would love that one. I'm just saying, you no longer identify with like your old poverty self or the old story that was passed down through your family. Like, oh no, we can't do that. Oh no, baby, mommy can't afford it. Daddy can't. No, we don't buy that kind of car. We don't, or whatever it is. We don't have that. Why? And you know what? A lot of the things in the book, and I'm going to end the live very soon. A lot of the people in this book, y'all, this is written around the time of after they went through the Depression. I'm not the greatest, history buff in there. I know a little bit about a little bit. A few things about spirituality, biblical, things and things like that. Language, I'm not a biblical scholar or anything like that, but I know I can look up some things, History buff, no. I can look up some things. But from what I was reading in the book and listening as well from the book, Think and Grow Rich, these people achieved these great financial, achievements after they had experienced a depression that I don't think any of them had ever experienced before. So we could talk about the current economy or whatever. It's not like times were booming around this time when this book was written, researched and written. They mentioned the Great Depression in some of these stories, and Lord willing, we'll get to. So it's about overcoming your circumstances and learning how to use the money frequency. So check out that video, y'all. It's actually linked in on my YouTube at Wealth with Tia. Okay, WEALTH with WITH Tia. TIA, Wealth with Tia over at YouTube. Is actually linked this video from Bob Proctor, how to use the money frequency in 2024 to get you some motivations, about 45 minutes or so, something like that. And you can hear from him himself in its entirety, and to help get you on that money frequency. Okay. So anyway, thank you so much for attending this live. I appreciate you. We got a few likes in here. Hey, listen, this is my first TikTok live. I've done, like I said, a couple others on different platforms, but this is my first time with you guys. So I appreciate y'all over here. Follow the page for more at Solar Alignment, Wealth with Tia. I also have a music channel. It's by my name, BatiYah Yisrael. I have long names, y'all. BatiYah, and then Yisrael, YISRAEL. Also sing. I have an album called Nation, Soundtrack of the Exodus. And we made this album, y'all, in 2002, like 20 years ago, y'all. It was a long time. So I need to get back in the studio. But so I do several things. But one of the things I'm passionate about is freedom. And freedom includes financial freedom. It includes your money. Okay. It includes your sovereignty, right? Your body, your mind, your spirituality, your knowing, like being able to, see through what they call the matrix or the false matrix. Because the matrix is a womb. So a matrix is not a bad thing in and of itself. But the false matrix is a false sense of, just being bound by things that really have no power, but it's just the mind. So I'm passionate about these things. And so as you follow my pages and things like that, you will be getting in line with, that frequency as well. The frequency of freedom, really. Freedom to know who you are, to know who source is, to know who source is as you, to get into alignment with that. We're on that journey to financial freedom, to get into alignment with that, right? And vibrational, music in terms of experiencing freedom in that as well. And so with that, I will say thank you so much. Much love, peace, high vibrations, abundance, and prosperity to you. So remember, please, if you would like to, join us, do the exercise, go to Deuteronomy 8:18. So chapter 8, verse 18, and write out your God certificate and put your name where it says that you will remember the Lord your power, for it is he who gives you the power to get wealth. Write your name where it says, so I have BatiYah Yisrael. That's my long name. See it. For God gives me, BatiYah Yisrael, the power to get wealth. So you put your name there. I want to type it up and get fancy and stuff like that. Deuteronomy 8:18. So that's our assignment for the day. If you didn't join us last week, so anyway, with that, I'm going to bid you adieu and thank you so much for being here. And peace out. All right, so I'm gonna turn the music on as I turn everything off. Much abundance to y'all. All right, I'm ending that over on